The Trump assassination hearing just went off the rails, guys, as a screaming match broke out between Representative Pat Fallon and Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe. You see, what happened was Fallon presented a photo showing the acting director standing near the incoming president during the Republicans' visit to New York to mark the anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attack. Sounds fine, right? Well, except there was no protective agent in view. So it kind of looked like Rowe just kind of wanted the photo op. And then when asked about it, Rowe just started screaming. Check this out.
Okay, getting pretty hot at this hearing, which is going on. This is the final hearing on the assassination attempts against President-elect Trump. Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe is testifying about those two instances, but it got very heated with Republican Congressman Pat Fallon from Texas when they got into the issue of intelligence, Secret Service, and September 11th. But watch this.
So actually, Congressman, what you're not seeing is the sack of the detail out of the picture's view. And that is the day where we remember the more than 3,000 people that have died on 9/11. I actually responded to Ground Zero. I was there going through the ashes of the World Trade Center. I was there at Fresh Kills.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you,
Congressman,
were you the special agent in charge?
To show respect for a Secret Service member that died on 9/11.
Oh, that you're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, I'm not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir.
Gentlemen,
and you are out of line.
I would like to ask him a question.
Please.
You are out of line, Congressman.
Don't try to bully me. I am an elected member of Congress, and I'm asking you a serious question, and you are playing politics.
I am a public servant who has served this nation, and
you won't answer the question.
On our country's darkest day.
Committee will come to order. Committee will come to order.
I'm asking you serious questions for the American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions. Were you the special agent in charge that day?
No, I wasn't. I was there representing the United States Secret Service, sir.
Mr. Fallon, your time's expired.
Did not affect protective operations.
You know why you were there? Because you wanted to be visible, because you are auditioning for this job.
I was there to pay respect for a fallen member of this agency.
You endangered President Biden's life, Vice President Harris's life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr. Chairman.
Did you have a radio with you?
Mr. Fallon, your time has expired.
I did, sir, and you are out of line.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Please.
All right. And we are back in order now. We are back in order now.
Thank you.
Well, sometimes things get a little heated.
Now, you heard them, guys. Rowe started the yelling. Typical move, really. Deflect and then run out the clock. Nice work, Rowe. It just kind of goes to show how he just failed Trump and the American people yet again as a representative of the Secret Service. And let me just go ahead and say this, guys. Being at Ground Zero at 9/11 doesn't give you the right to not answer questions. Am I right? Back me up here. Even former Secret Service personnel said the same thing about the Rowe testimony in that Trump assassination attempt hearing. Here, check this out.
No, I don't think it's any more efficient than it was prior to this guy, Ron Rowe, taking charge of the Secret Service. You know, there's a lot that goes into becoming the director of the Secret Service. You know, you want to lead an agency that's got 7,000 employees, multi-billion-dollar budget, not the least of which is the ability to maintain your composure, to answer questions that you should be able to answer without any problem. And to add to that, this guy has yet to take any responsibility for any of the shortcomings that led to the shooting in Butler, as well as the incident on that golf course following the shooting in Butler, right? All these things he's talking about, we're going to do this and change that and turn this on, hey, if you'd have just left things alone and left them the way that they were and got back to the basics that made the Secret Service great, you wouldn't have had these issues. But this is the guy that was purely responsible for cutting back, which led to President Trump getting shot in Butler.
And it wasn't just Congressman Fallon who lost it with Rowe. Even Representative Mark Green had something to say about the culture at the Secret Service. Watch.
That's what I'm talking about. Elite culture where everybody comes to work every friggin' day saying, I will do everything I can to make sure I don't fail. And I'll tell you, going to war, I didn't give a if I died. What I didn't want to do was fail. But your guys showed up that day and didn't give a There was apathy and complacency, period. And that's your mission now.
Because that's what it's going to take, right? That mentality. to show up every day and do your job the absolute best that you can do it.
And that's exactly right. But when the senior most leadership of the Secret Service, and I'm talking about from deputy assistant director up to the acting director, exudes complacency, lack of motivation, and political allows their political beliefs to get involved in their job, that makes its way down to the field. And what you saw with regard to the level of complacency and just going through the motions is what led to the shooting in Butler.
Now, honestly, guys, I'm with the congressman here. I'm just sick of no answers at these hearings. I mean, they all try to talk circles around the questions. You guys ever notice that? And when they're backed into a corner, they deflect and say all sorts of things like how they served in this and they served in that, which really had nothing to do with the question. It's the exact same thing as Republicans on the bipartisan task force investigating the assassination attempts against President-elect Donald Trump grilled acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe during the panel's final hearing. Now, before the clip that I showed you guys earlier, Representative Pat Fallon, he was letting Rowe have it for taking 9 days to visit the Butler, PA site for the first attempted assassination attempt, despite being deputy director. Rowe only trekked over to the site after he was elevated to the acting director with the resignation of his boss, Kimberly Cheadle. So that's pretty much how it started, and things really got heated when Fallon showed that photo of Rowe without the special agent in charge of President-elect Trump. Now, as you guys saw earlier, Rowe lost it and pretty much started shouting about how he was at ground zero and all that stuff, right? Except Fallon wasn't asking about that. You see, lower levels of the Secret Service privately complained about Rowe's attendance and argued that if something went wrong at the memorial, the chain of command may have been confused. So for Fallon, Rowe was just there to be visible and basically auditioning for the job that he's not going to get. The Texas representative later talked to reporters and said that he's opposed to Rowe being retained as leader of the Secret Service in the next administration after the acting director blew up like a child during the hearing. For Fallon, they didn't learn enough from July the 13th, where almost President Trump was almost killed, because these are some pretty high-profile folks at the memorial. So why was Rowe getting in the middle of their prosecution? He said Rowe's explanation was a bunch of bull. Now, apart from Fallon and Green that I showed you guys earlier, Representative Laurel Lee also blasted the Justice Department and the FBI for not providing the task force with the facts about how the would-be assassin came within a quarter of an inch of taking Trump's life and the second alleged would-be assassin that would be stopped in September. Apparently, the Department of Justice had not provided the task force with information about the digital devices, what the would-be assassins were looking at, who they're affiliated with. They said that they're not sharing the details outright because of the supposed ongoing nature of the investigation. Then again, of course, FBI Director Christopher Wray notably broke precedent in a July hearing to share details about Thomas Matthew Crooks having searched how far away was Lee Harvey Oswald from President John F. Kennedy. He searched this on Google 7 days before he shot Trump in the right ear. You see, disturbing stuff. The hearing was pretty cordial for the most part. As Representative Jared Moskowitz put it, the reason emotions are high is because we almost did have a former president, and now the president-elect literally almost killed live on television. But seriously, guys, the level of failure in the 2 Trump assassination attempts, it was just astounding. Rowe did acknowledge this in his opening remarks. He said that the Secret Service has identified failures by multiple employees that warrant disciplinary action. But he said that there is an extensive review that requires time to ensure due process. He said the pace of the process does frustrate him. Then again, I don't think people really have that much sympathy when it was because of their failures that Trump was literally inches away from being murdered. Rowe also mentioned his creation of an aviation unit to ensure that drones go up in the sky and give the Secret Service a bird's eye view of the scene in question. I mean, where was that in the Butler rally? You know what I'm saying? Now I would like to introduce the sponsor of today's video, ConnectM Technology Solutions, who is listed on the NASDAQ under ticker symbol CNTM. ConnectM Technology Solutions is a company that focuses on developing technologies to support the growing trend of electrification, shifting from fossil fuels to cleaner energy sources like electric heating and transportation. The company offers innovative solutions in 3 main areas: building electrification, smart heating and cooling systems, specifically electric heat pumps; transportation and logistics, electric commercial vehicles for last mile delivery; distributed energy, solar power, battery storage, and EV electric vehicle charging infrastructure. ConnectM has made several key achievements recently, debt reduction, debt to equity swap. ConnectM converted $13.7 million of its debt into company shares, helping reduce its debt significantly. Financial benefits: this move reduces annual interest payments by over $2 million, freeing up more money to invest in growth. Optimized balance sheet: the company achieved 90% of its $15 million debt reduction target within just 30 days of its plan being approved by the board of directors. Strategic acquisition: ConnectM acquired Green Energy Gains, GEG, which specializes in home energy assessments and weatherization solutions. Now, why does this really matter? Well, this particular acquisition, it helps ConnectM expand its customer base for their electric heat pumps. After free home energy assessments, many homeowners adopt these heat pumps. GEG has a high conversion rate of 65% for this process. Local partnerships: well, GEG brings a network of HVAC contractors who will distribute and install ConnectM's heat pumps, potentially leading to more partnerships and contracts. And let's talk about the groundbreaking technology: AI-powered heat pumps. ConnectM launched an intelligent AI-driven heat pump that has received the AHRI cold climate certification. This particular certification proves the heat pump performs efficiently even in very cold temperatures. And so why is this important? Well, unlike traditional heat pumps, ConnectM's AI-powered heat pump avoids energy spikes in cold weather, making it a reliable and eco-friendly heating option. And let's talk about that revenue growth, shall we? Third quarter success: in Q3 of 2024, ConnectM's revenue increased by 36% to $6.1 million compared to $4.45 million in Q3 of 2023. Now, as for the year-to-date growth for the 9 months of 2024, revenue grew by 11% to $17.3 million. As for future projections, the company expects to reach $24 million in revenue by 2024. This would be a 20% increase from the previous year. And as far as the future outlook is concerned, operational goals: ConnectM aims to achieve positive cash flow by the first quarter of 2025. Some of the growth areas: the company continues to expand in building electrification, transportation and logistics, and distributed energy. Leadership commitment: CEO Bhaskar Panagrai and the management team believe in the company's future, demonstrated by their purchase of 455,000 shares, aligning their interests with other shareholders. At this point, I think it's pretty clear that ConnectM Technology Solutions is making major strides in the electrification industry by reducing debt, acquiring strategic businesses, and launching advanced energy-efficient technologies. With more revenue growth and a clear path toward profitability, ConnectM's future looks promising for shareholders and customers seeking sustainable solutions. To learn more about ConnectM Technology Solutions, check them out on the NASDAQ under ticker symbol CNTM. So the task force assigned to investigate the Trump assassination attempt is set to dissolve within the next coming days. But members contend that there are still many questions left to be answered. They already released a 53-page interim report on the July 13th assassination attempt against Trump. That was back in October, and the task force's leadership indicated that the final report will be released soon, but they didn't provide an exact time frame. Now, I guess that's another thing to keep an eye out for in our future updates, guys. Now, quick reminder for you guys, if you have not already, I highly recommend subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell for more updates like this one. You can also show your support for the channel by just dropping a quick yes in the comments and lighting up the like button for us. Totally appreciate you guys. All right, so more details from the acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe testimony to House lawmakers. He talked about the numerous challenges and changes that the agency has implemented following the attempted assassination attempt of President-elect Trump in July in Butler, Pennsylvania. He mentioned they're now using an autonomous robot at Trump's Mar-a-Lago property in Florida, where it's walking the seawall with a sensor package. Yeah, robo-dogs and everything, guys. Now, apart from that, Rowe gave this whole laundry list of specific areas that the agency is working on to remedy the event from July 13th and to prevent additional assassination attempts from happening. So let me go ahead and read them out for you guys. Providing the highest level of Secret Service protection to Vice President Harris and President-elect Trump throughout the remainder of the campaign, commensurate with the level of protection provided to the president. Increasing the staff levels of special agents assigned to former and now President-elect Trump's protective detail. Expanding the use of unmanned aerial systems, UAS, for aerial observation at venues. Expanding the use of counter unmanned aerial aerial systems technologies to mitigate the use of a UAS as a kinetic attack vector, addressing radio interoperability by requiring and ensuring through appropriate supervision the co-location of the Secret Service personnel with state and local public safety counterparts at unified command posts, deploying Secret Service and Department of Defense personnel to assist the Department of Radio Communications networks with redundancies at Secret Service protected campaign sites, implementing agreements with federal partners to support Secret Service protective operations when the agency's personnel and assets are temporarily committed to other protective visits, expanding Secret Service tactical coverage augmented by other federal tactical units to support protective operations for the Vice President, former and now President-elect Trump, and others, expanding use of ballistic countermeasures at Secret Service protected campaign sites, expanding use of technical countermeasures and technologies to enhance the security of former and now President-elect Trump and his residents, realigning agency technology programs with the appropriate operational entities across the Secret Service with the goal of effectively leveraging internal research and the Department of Emerging Technologies. Yeah, so it definitely sounds like a lot, but my question is still, why didn't they do all of this in the first place? President-elect Trump was requesting additional security the whole time, but they never gave it. And so now shit's hit the fan and they're all just trying to cover their ass. Yeah, plus there's Rowe gunning for the Secret Service director job, right? Fat chance. In fact, he and Kimberly Cheadle, the director who resigned, they should both be on the top of the list when they're talking about disciplinary action. The U.S. Secret Service published a summary of the agency's independent investigation, and they concluded that certain agents' actions and behaviors may warrant disciplinary action. In fact, the internal review, which was shared with Congress, found communications deficiencies and unclear understanding of duties among some personnel working for USSS and certain planning failures leading up to and during Trump's campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where gunman Thomas Crooks shot Trump, the bullet skimming the former president's ear. So the report acknowledged that some of the Homeland Security Investigations personnel tapped with assisting Secret Service in the security procedures that day, saying that they were inadequately prepared due to insufficient instruction. They also found that the agency did not have adequate command and control over the radio communications for the rally. Even more damning was that certain agents failed to adequately relay critical information through the radio and instead relayed critical pieces of information conveyed by law enforcement partners via telephone and text message of some sort, but not all Secret Service personnel is at the site. Two state and local law enforcement agencies said that the Secret Service planning for the Butler rally lacked detail, cohesion, and clear understanding as to who was in charge, all of which contributed to the overall lack of coordination. Plus, they also mentioned a lack of coordination with Trump campaign staff that caused a higher than expected proportion of security personnel to be diverted into assisting with medical responses. The investigation summary concluded that the July 13th rally was a failure for the Secret Service that warranted several operational policy and organizational changes, some because of the findings and recommendations of the Mission Assurance Inquiry, and others done proactively in the wake of the July 13th incident. In short, let's just say that the whole damn thing was a clusterfuck and we really didn't need them to repeat it. Instead, we want heads to roll. Am I right, guys? So unless they really want things to not go well for the Secret Service in that Trump rally, I'm just thinking out loud here, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Was this planned? Were the Secret Service failures a mistake, or was this something intentional? I want y'all to drop a quick comment down below. Let's revisit this in a future update. Subscribe to the channel, tap that notification bell. That way you know as soon as we drop the next video. Meanwhile, we have other content for you guys to check out here on the channel. I definitely recommend our recent one analyzing Biden's scandalous decision to pardon his son Hunter Biden and then running off to Angola to hide from the media. Yeah, you got to check that one out after this one, guys. Anyway,